Hello everyone, day 14 of Back to the Office After Burnout. And my question today is, how do you evaluate a wake-up call? What do you consider a wake-up call, and how hard should it shake you before you consider changing your direction? I had several wake-up calls which I decided to ignore, or I did not consider shaking enough. I told you about my experience with a day trip with my child from kindergarten that was already a sign that I have to take care of myself and pause. But I carried on for 6 months. And it's my kids again, 6 months later, that made me realize that I was on the wrong path and that I needed a change. I remember Saturday, after an extremely busy week of traveling because it was holidays, I was alone with the kids. I came back and I really needed a break after the break. It was a Saturday morning. I was alone with the kids again. The only thing that I wanted to do was stay in bed. I had no desire to do anything. I had no motivation to get up. Yet again, being a parent, I had to get up and take care of my kids, provide breakfast. I remember being in the kitchen, showing my back to my kids because tears were rolling down my cheeks while I was preparing the food. And I just felt completely exhausted. I felt drained. I felt not being able to perform simple tasks. I remember yelling at my kids, despite the fact that I was not facing them. I had the feeling that they were repeating "mommy, mommy" every 2 seconds, and I could no longer take it. I was telling them to shut up, and of course they noticed that I was upset and that I was crying. And I remember my little one coming towards me, and I of course told her off because she again started with "mommy," and she paused. And then I looked to the side and I saw her next to me, by my side, with open arms, and she waited for me to embrace her. The only thing that she said was, "Mommy, you need a hug." And this shook me so strong. I wiped my hands and I turned around and I hugged her. And this hug shook me, took me completely off guard, and I just cried. This was too much for me. The Monday after, of course, I did not go to my boss and tell him, "Hey, I need a break." I went to work and I continued crying for 2 weeks. And by the end of the second week, after my kid embracing me, I did have a chat with my boss. He did not show any intention to cooperate. I remember crying wherever, people just meet you and they're like, "Hey, hi, how are you?" On any "how are you," I would just start crying. Irrelevant of the place, irrelevant of the time. And after I spoke to my boss in the office and I saw no signs of cooperation, I remember going to yoga because my yoga teacher was back in town for the weekend, and he called me afterwards and we had a chat and we had a drink and I cried again. And he told me, he actually took away my biggest fear. My biggest fear was that by not going to work, I will lose my job. I will lose my only source of income. And I'm the financial provider of the family. But my yoga teacher was like, you are in a social country. You will not get chucked away. You will have a job. So go on Monday, ask for time off, and take care of yourself. And come Monday, sure enough, that's exactly what I did. And I'm grateful for that because I needed it. I took a week off. I thought it would be enough. And then after that, I took another month off. And a year and 2 months later, I'm talking to you. Now, over a year later, I can tell you that I'm a lot more aware and I cancel appointments. And when I'm not okay, it's okay. I hope this was useful for you, from my heart to your heart. Namaste.